Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Happy Saturday evening. I hope you had a wonderful week. And yes, this is being recorded before Friday. This is on Thursday. So I have no idea what happened on Friday in the Indian market, but I'm sure in yesterday's video I would have covered it pretty well. If I hadn't, I'm sorry I didn't, and I will endeavor to do better going forward. That said, on Thursday I had mentioned that a lot of you are looking at investing in the American equity market, that you feel there's an opportunity there because of the recent correction and the tariffs and all the things that are going on there, and you wanted me to tell you how to go about doing it. Me personally, I use a company known as Interactive Brokers. Their website, IBKR, they have an Indian website, and they allow me to invest in American equity and Japanese equity through America. I'm allowed to invest, so I use them, and that is what I'm going to talk about. I'm not talking about all the other ones which are available. I'm sure they're equally good or not good. I do not know. This is what I use. Since all of you are asking which one do you use, I thought I'll tell you all about it and how I went about setting this up. And if you found this video useful, I'm happy. If not, there's nothing much I can do because this is what I use. So if you go to their website, they have an option of being an Indian resident trading overseas. That is the option which I take. There are other options there. They do Indian equities, and they have other kinds of things for institutional. I don't go into all those because I'm not in those categories. My category is I'm a resident Indian. So I chose that, trading overseas. And the application is very simple. When you visit their website, you fill out all your personal details, as in any application which you do. You have to give your PAN, Aadhaar card, and or passport as identity proof, your bank details, your tax information, which is your PAN number, and your tax residency. I'm an Indian resident, so I'll be liable for Indian taxes. So if you are sitting somewhere else, like in the Middle East or Europe or wherever, I guess you have to give those tax details and your tax residency for those countries. Then, of course, I had to fill out my financial information. They'll ask you, like all investment accounts ask you, well, how much income do you make in a year? What is your net worth? What experience do you have in investing? All those details you fill out, and then you upload all these documents, and it's as simple as that. And you say send away. You submit it in a day or two. Usually you get back a mail from them saying, congratulations for coming to IBKR, your account is open. Now you may fund your account. From there, it gets very easy. Like in all your other apps, they have an IBKR app which you can download and use, or you can do it through their website. I prefer doing it through the website. You send wire money to them through your bank account, and once the fund is in your IBKR account, you can start investing. You can start buying American securities or Japanese securities listed in the US as ADRs. But keep in mind, there are certain rules and regulations you must follow if you are sitting in India as a resident Indian. You have something known as a liberalized remittance scheme, where you're allowed to take as an individual $250,000 per financial year, that's April to March, outside India. What are you allowed to take this money for? Investing in foreign securities, acquiring immovable properties, that means like buying houses or villas or flats, and depositing in foreign banks, that means taking and dumping it in foreign banks, education and medical expenses, and gifts and donations. Remember, this $250,000 is a total of everything, all these transactions. You cannot say, I use $250,000 for investing, then I'll use another $250,000 for going on education and medical expenses. This $250,000 is a total of all of it during the entire financial year. This is something a lot of you fail to keep in mind. So remember this, because if you want to cross this $250,000 within the financial year, you must get an approval from RBI prior to doing this crossing. So keep that in mind. And also, from the 1st of April 2025, you have something known as the tax collected at source, the TCS, that is remittances over 10 lakhs are subject to TCS. So keep that in mind too as you're investing and taking funds outside India. These are very important pieces of information which a lot of you don't factor into your investments when you look abroad. This is one of the main reasons Anand says if you only have a volume of 7 lakhs or more, when you look at it all in the scheme of things, it starts looking worthwhile. If you're investing small amounts of pocket change money in different coffee ranges, this may not be the right avenue for you. That is something I wanted to tell too. The other thing which you can keep in mind is IBKR allows fractional shares. Fractional shares means buying, let's say, a company which is like Berkshire Hathaway, which is worth a lot of money, but you don't have that much money to invest. You can buy a fraction of that share. So if you buy a fraction of that share, you're a fraction owner of a share. So dividends and everything is also to your fraction, whatever your percentage of ownership is. So remember that, and make sure you understand all the fees and commissions which are involved in this. Take your time and read and understand all this before you invest. Because when you sign up in the account, there is a two-tiered pricing system. There is one which is a low base fee plus exchange and etc., which is based on amount trading, which is a better for people who are doing high volume trades, which is not me. I prefer the fixed price, which is a flat fee per trade, and it's much easier for me to calculate and understand as a new investor, and that would be my recommendation to you. They do have their own currency conversion tool which you can use to understand how this conversion happens, and make sure you keep all the documentations for your LSR filing and compliance. Don't lose these documents because they are very important when you have to file your taxes. Talking about taxes, one of you was asking me, if you're sitting outside India investing in IBKR and suddenly a situation happens and you're back in India and you sell these securities which you invested in IBKR, what happens? Well, the tax implications are not based on IBKR and the securities you're selling. It is your status as an NRI. If you, according to the NRI rule, 182 days consecutively you stay in India. On the 183rd day, you become a resident Indian again. Till then, you still have an NRI status. If you do the sale before you lose your NRI status, you are not taxable for income which is non-Indian. That means you're only taxable as an NRI for all the money you make in India, which is an Indian income. So any of these foreign things, you're not really tax liable. India has a double tax avoidance agreement with a lot of countries, so that also kicks in for you. But if you're a resident Indian, you get into the long-term capital gains and short-term capital gains depending on the length of time you've held these securities. But then again, I'm a layman, I'm not an auditor, I'm not a tax professional. This is just my understanding on a very lay term. So I would strongly advise you to get in touch with a tax professional, explain your situation, your investments, your sources of income, how you have structured everything, and then tell them this is happening, and they'll be able to give you the right advice, because there are lots of ways to lower your tax burden upon yourself without it being illegal. So keep that in mind. You can use a good tax professional to help you lower your tax burden on yourself. This is what I wanted to share with you if you're looking at investing in the US or Japanese stock. When we're talking about investing in Japan, we're not talking about directly buying in the Japanese stock exchange. We're talking about buying big Japanese company securities which are listed in the US, like Indian companies are, and buying those through something known as an ADR. So this is how you can invest in the US. If it's something you're keen on doing and you want to know more about it, I suggest you go to the IBKR website and you spend some time reading all the documentation. And I strongly suggest don't get FOMO that, the American stock market has crashed. That is a great opportunity there, especially after seeing the bounce which came thanks to Trump putting a pause on the tariffs. But, I can understand human emotions, and you feel like you might have missed an opportunity, or those of you who bought maybe felt like you should have bought some more. It's all human to feel all that. It's okay to go through these emotions, but you cannot base your investment strategies on those emotions. It must be based on where you want to go and what your future is. Giving a beautiful painting to a blind man is of no use. Same way, make sure your investment finally serves its purpose at the end of what you're doing. If it doesn't serve its purpose of where you want to go in life, then what's the point of putting all that effort into it? That is what I want to talk about while investing in American securities. Aside from that, this tariff and all this confusion and uncertainty is going to be there for some time. Just because Trump put a pause on it or the Europeans have put a pause on what they were going to do as counter tariffs doesn't mean the whole thing is cleared up and everything is back to normal. It is not. In tomorrow's video, I'll be talking in greater depth about what Howard Marks said and why it is very important to keep what he said in perspective, because whatever we think of the world as today, it is not what it was a few months ago. There's been a fundamental shift into the way our world is, even if you haven't realized it as yet. Thanks for watching the video as always. Wish you a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend. And for those of you who are celebrating Tamil New Year's and Ambedkar Day, my wishes are there for you too. See you again soon on another video. Thank you for watching Be Rich today. Good night.